Hey friends, it's Caitlin here from Spill the Reads. I stayed up until 2 a.m. last night finishing The Ministry of Time, and today I'm going to talk all about this book without giving any spoilers away, but I am thinking about doing an explanation video of what I understood from this book. So let me know in the comments if you want me to do a full explanation video. All right, so this book was just so many things, so many genres. I had read that it was like genre bending, but we have like a spy thriller, a contemporary romance, we have sci fi and time travel. And so I thought this book was going to be super exciting. But all in all, like I kind of couldn't wait for it to be over. And it's only 275 pages. And yet, I felt like I wasn't even going to be able to finish it. I will be 100% honest with you. I only persisted because I wanted to see what happened with this, like, spicy romance because there was some foreshadowing and I was like, "Oh, I want to see if there's going to be a spicy scene between our characters." So I'll just give a little run through of the plot without any spoilers and then I'll talk about what I liked and didn't like about this book. So we are set in London in the near future and the British government has found a way to go into the past and like take people from the past and bring them to the present. But because this is like new technology, they're wary of changing the course of history. And so what they've decided to do is to like take people from history that they knew were like about to die, people from like the plague or from famous battles. And so they bring them to the future and they just kind of observe the effects of time travel on their bodies, but also like how they can acclimate to modern times. And these people, they call them expats, these people from history. They each have a bridge, which is like a person from the ministry who helps them acclimate and studies them and lives with them for a year. And so our protagonist, she's like British Cambodian. She is matched with Graham, who uh, is from, they take him from 1846. They save him from this Arctic expedition that was like a total failure. Everyone on his ship like died of starvation. And yeah, so he's one of the main characters. I don't want to say too much about the plot if you're planning on reading this book, but basically we have some foreshadowing that a lot of things can go wrong with time travel, the effects on bodies or maybe like changing the course of history. So there are a lot of explosive events that kind of happen at the end of the book, but it's really not that much of like a spy thriller like it might lead you to believe. Most of this story is just like the expats being confronted with modern times and all of like the humor and horrors that go with that. Um, our main character, the bridge, she has to explain really awful things to them, like the Holocaust and terrorism, climate change. So we have a lot of these kind of tough conversations, and it really made me think, like, oh wow, like how would I explain something like slavery or colonialism to someone from the past? I'll now get into things that I did like about the book. I really liked the humor. There's a lot of really funny things that happen. Like the expats, they refer to electricity as enslaved lightning or climate change. They call it like Earth having a fever. Um, I like the way that they would like acclimate to modern things. Like we have this really funny character named Margaret, who is an expat from the 17th century, and she's a lesbian, and she is really into like going on Tinder, and she's just super funny. And of course, the other thing that I really liked, the only reason I kept reading this book was because of the romance and the foreshadowing that there might be some spicy scenes going on. By the way, I noted it down. You have to wait until page 180 to get to anything actually happening between the main character and Graham. I was very invested in this like love story between them. it really made me keep reading this book, even though I was super confused. But let me just say, wow, that is like the spiciest thing that I've read recently. I read a lot of thrillers and I've been reading a lot of horror lately. And yet I wasn't expecting like this time travel book to have so much spice. So that was definitely very, very interesting to read. But all in all, this book, I'll talk about things I didn't like now. I was so confused. I feel like I understood maybe like 70% of what happened in this book. I'm wondering if other people felt the same way. I think if I had read it in like a book club or with friends, maybe I could have like talked about what was happening in the plot because I just felt really confused. I feel like big things happen, but they weren't really like explained in detail, and it's kind of a short book. So I was just left feeling really confused, especially about the time travel technology, and things like that. So I'm wondering if other people also felt confused. Another thing is that I was confused by a lot of the language. Of course, this is British English, but a lot of the characters are from the past. And so they have this like weird, clunky historical vocabulary. And thankfully, I was reading on my Kobo, so I could just like highlight words and look them up instantly. But it made for like a much slower read for me. I was just like constantly looking up words because like I hate seeing a word that I can't understand. So yeah, let me know if you also felt that way. And I'm not even really sure I understood all the things that happened in the story. I also don't really like how things ended. It was kind of ambiguous, but like I like to think that there is a happy ending in my mind. And I think I'll be thinking about this love story for a while and just like hoping, okay, I can't really say anything else, but yeah, this is kind of how I felt about this book. Very confusing, maybe too many genres, but the romance was spicy, and I'll be thinking about time travel for a while. Oh, I just want to say that I read that there's a lot of kind of scandal about like plagiarism accusations. People said that this book was like too much like this Spanish show called The Ministry of Time. Basically, in this show, I haven't seen it, but apparently people go back in time and try to like change history, and that doesn't happen at all in this book. The whole point is that they don't want to change history. They want to experiment carefully with like time travel and not mess anything up in the future. So, yeah, I don't think that is plagiarism at all. Anyway, let me know what you thought about this book. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Were you confused like me? And yeah, stick around for more book reviews in the future, and I will see you next time.